Coming in number 10 today, we have Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian. On April 11, 2018, photos of Tristan Thompson would start to circulate online where it would show him cheating on his then 9-month pregnant girlfriend, Khloe Kardashian. And just like that, we all guessed things would make a turn for the worse. TMZ would then post a video from October 2017 that showed Tristan kissing 2 other women at a club. Despite all the cheating rumors, Tristan was with Khloe for the birth of their child, as seen on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The two would then remain a couple and would end up fully getting back together. However, in February 2019, Tristan truly wasn't to give up his ways, as reports would start to surface again that Khloe Kardashian and Tristan had split because he had cheated on her, and this time with a close friend of the family, Kylie Jenner's bestest friend and roommate, Jordyn Woods. When anonymous party attendees told TMZ that Tristan and Jordyn were spotted throughout the night being all over each other and making out, Jordyn's actions would become the ultimate betrayal to the family. Tristan and Khloe, however, would reconcile again, but they would appear to break up for good not so long after a paternity scandal involving Tristan and another woman broke. This would happen around the same time Tristan and Khloe were expecting another child together as well. Number 9, Cardi B and Offset. After 3 years of marriage, Cardi B would file for a divorce from Offset after rumors started to circulate that he had cheated on her. While Cardi would make the decision to call off the divorce and get back together with Offset, this cheating scandal would definitely ruin Hollywood, and the cheating rumors haven't exactly gone away. It all started when Tekashi's 6ix9ine girlfriend shared a flirty DM that Offset had sent her on Instagram. Cardi would then reveal that Offset's Instagram got hacked when the DM was sent, and it wasn't really from him. In her Vogue interview, Cardi confirmed Offset cheated on her, and she would say, "When me and my husband got into our issues, he cheated and everything, and I decided to stay with him and work together with him. A lot of people were so mad at me. A lot of women felt disappointed in me. While it seems like trolls don't want to see Cardi and Offset end up together, there still continues to be cheating rumors surrounding the couple." With the latest rumor claiming that Offset had cheated on Cardi with Saweetie, Cardi has been forced to clap back by saying, "No baby, you lying. You're making crazy lies," and stating it and putting female rappers in it with no receipts. No blog ever spoke on this, and all of a sudden you come out of jail 5 days ago and you made up a lie in 2 hours with no receipts. And honestly, I just think everybody just needs to leave Cardi and Offset alone already. Hey my little peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
Number 8. Chad Michael Murray and Paris Hilton. In 2003, Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush fell in love while filming the TV series One Tree Hill. 2 years later, they were married. However, they separated just 5 months later when rumors swirled that Chad had cheated on his wife with Paris Hilton, his co-star on the film House of Wax. During the time he and Paris both worked on the horror film together, they reportedly had an affair, according to Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, who was dating Paris at the time. But after separating, Chad and Sophia still had to keep working together for another 3 years on One Tree Hill. If that's not awkward, I don't know what is. It wasn't until 2011 that the actor decided to rethink the way in which he was living his whole life. Quote, "When you're young and you're thrown into something that I was definitely not ready for, I'm human and I screw up." But his ex-wife definitely took the whole affair much harder, and it's clear that his actions really affected her in the long term. In 2017, she wrote in Cosmopolitan that the scandal was a massive event in her life, and the trauma of it was amplified by how public it became. She has also said that she feels the marriage was a joke, and it did nothing but reduce her to a Hollywood statistic. Ouch. Number 7. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Jen and Brad got married in 2000 in a lavish Malibu wedding, and things were perfect for the Hollywood it couple until they suddenly announced their divorce in 2005. What happened exactly? Well, long story short is, Brad met Angelina for the first time on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the rest is history. Apparently the movie was filled with so much romantic tension, it was impossible for the two stars not to fall for each other. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is probably the sexiest spy movie to ever exist, so it's easy to see how everything went down. But the problem was that Brad was still married to Jen. But he didn't let that stop him, and they allegedly still got together despite his marriage. To add insult to injury, he said about his marriage to Jen, quote, "I was trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't. I'm satisfied with making true choices and finding the woman I love, Angie, and and building a family that I love so much. That sounds pretty harsh, but it turned out that Brad and Angelina's relationship wasn't just a fling, and they actually went on to date for many years and had a large family before finally getting married in 2014. The love triangle was one of the biggest celebrity scandals of the early 2000s, and it still dominates the tabloids to this day. Number 6. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. The actress and writer Carrie Fisher was never one to hold back when she had something to say, and in 2016 she shared a fascinating piece of history in her own memoir called The Princess Diarist. According to Carrie, she had a brief but very intense affair with her Star Wars co-star Harrison Ford while they were filming the movie in 1976. But what's really quite troubling is that People magazine reported that she was just 19 years old when the 3-month affair took place, while Harrison was 36 years old and married to his wife of 15 years, Mary Marquardt. To make matters worse, the couple also shared 2 kids together. In terms of sneaking around, Carrie actually said, quote, "It was Han and Leia during the week and Carrie and Harrison during the weekend." She also explained to The Guardian that the affair between them had eventually come down to unreciprocated love. She said that she'll always feel something for him. The Star Wars actress was so young at the time that they got together, and although she must have known it was wrong, it's hard to say that the blame rests completely on her. What's even sadder is that after Carrie died in 2016, Harrison never fully confessed to the affair, probably more out of shame for cheating on his wife. Number 5. Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The co-stars brought their on-screen romance into the real world after working together on the FX series Fargo. The pair appeared on season 3 of the anthology crime drama, which debuted in April of 2017. Only a month later, the actress announced on social media that she had split from her husband of 7 years, Riley Stearns. Following her separation, Winstead was spotted on a date, hooking up with McGregor in London, and cheating rumors were flying because although she was single, he was very much not. The Trainspotting actor was still married to Eve Mavrakis at the time, with whom he shares 4 children. After the Emmy winner was spotted getting cozy with Winstead, fans began to wonder about the status of his marriage, but it wasn't until January of 2018 that his now ex-wife filed for divorce. But while the two managed to keep their romance relatively private, their relationship raised eyebrows even among their family members. In fact, in August of 2018, McGregor's daughter Clara had some strong feelings on the new relationship at the time. She took to Instagram to comment on a Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan page, quote, "Most beautiful and talented woman on earth? Oh man, y'all are delusional. This girl is a piece of trash." Wow. Number 4. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Although it's been over for decades, Nicole Kidman's marriage to Tom Cruise is still one of Hollywood's most talked about relationships. Cruise met Nicole Kidman on the set of the movie Days of Thunder, and the pair were instantly smitten with one another, and they soon started engaging in a torrid love affair. But at the time of meeting, you guessed it, the Top Gun actor was still married to Mimi Rogers, whom he wed in 1987. As it became clear that the affair was more than just a simple fling, Tom divorced his first wife in February of 1990, and less than 1 year later, he exchanged vows with Nicole in December of 1990. They even adopted 2 children, Isabella Jane and Connor Anthony, and eventually went on to make 2 more movies together as a couple. But as we all know, their marriage was far from perfect, and they ended up splitting a decade later in 2001. Looking back on the divorce, Nicole said, quote, "It took me a very long time to heal. It was a shock to my system. We were in a bubble, just the 2 of us. We became very dependent on one another." Number 3. Billy Crudup and Claire Danes. The massive scandal started in late 2003. Billy and his girlfriend of 8 years, Mary Louise Parker, who at the time was about 7 months pregnant with his son, broke up. The New York Post reported that the actor had moved on with his stage beauty co-star Claire Danes, who was only 24 at the time. In the summer of that year, the former co-stars had been spotted getting cozy all over New York City, and even had a very cute looking courtside date filled with PDA. But Billy wasn't the only cheater in that situation, as Claire also ended up breaking the heart of her longtime boyfriend Ben Lee to be with the actor. Their love affair didn't last long, however, and it's clear that all the heartbreak wasn't even worth it, because they ended up splitting up just 3 years later. Naturally, the ultra-private couple didn't discuss the reason behind their breakup, but the tabloids were happy to do so for them. Several magazines even claimed that Danes had left Billy for Hugh Dancy, but we'll never really know what happened. Years later, Claire said, quote, "I was just in in love with him and needed to explore that. I was 24, I didn't quite know what those consequences would be. Number 2. Morena Baccarin and Ben McKenzie. The Homeland actress furiously denied rumors that she had been cheating on her husband at the time, Austin Chick. But when she got pregnant by her Gotham co-star Ben McKenzie, there was very little she could do to cover it up. And just like that, the cheating rumors were confirmed. Although the actress tried to shut down the allegations, according to a TMZ report, the divorce papers filed in 2015 by Austin show that he claimed that he was still sharing a bed with Morena when she conceived Mackenzie's baby. She did get a happy ending though, and eventually gave birth to Mackenzie's daughter Frances in March of 2016, just 2 weeks before her divorce from Austin was finalized, and went on to marry Mackenzie in June the following year. But did she at least feel a little bad for sleeping with her co-star while she was married? Well, not really. In fact, she told People magazine that working with him on Gotham was wonderful. Quote, "Ben's the sweetest. It's very nice to work with your significant other, especially when you're pregnant, because you know you'll get some extra TLC and get taken care of." I mean, yeah, I guess that sounds nice if you can ignore the question of how they met. Number 1. John Malkovich and Michelle Pfeiffer. The legendary actor John Malkovich caused intense scandal both on and off the screen when it came to filming 1998's Dangerous Liaisons with his co-star Michelle Pfeiffer. At the time, the actor had been married to actress Glenn Headley for 6 years, but that completely fell apart in the midst of his affair with Michelle. Interestingly enough, even the film's director, Stephen Frears, said, quote, "Dangerous Liaisons is about betrayal and lies and relationships unraveling. It was one of those times where reality and art intersect. It was overwhelming to John. Even for a man who delights in bad behavior, that was a difficult time. Not to mention the fact that John's older brother, Danny, told Entertainment Weekly in 1993 that when the actor came home with Michelle, that was the happiest that he had ever seen him." But even though John and his ex-wife got divorced in 1988, the affair didn't last long either, and they reportedly broke up not long after. But apparently Malkovich took the breakup very hard and reportedly cried for a whole year. The two of them must have really had something special, because he told The Guardian in 2008, quote, "It's hard to believe Michelle Pfeiffer ever said hello to me." I mean, if you can forget about the fact that he cheated on his wife, it's still romantic the way he talks about Michelle.
Coming number 10, we have Adam Levine and Behati Prinsloo. Adam Levine started to make headlines when an Instagram model named Sumner Stroff claimed they had an affair shortly after he announced his wife's 3rd pregnancy. Adam, for his part, tried to deny the cheating accusations in a social media statement when he said, "I used poor judgment in speaking with any other woman than my wife in any kind of flirtatious manner." The Maroon 5 band member wrote via Instagram story in September 2022, "I did not have an affair. Nevertheless, I crossed the line during a regrettable period of my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate. I have addressed that and have taken proactive steps to remedy this with my family." Sumner, who clearly didn't like the Maroon 5 frontman's answer, then came for the singer again when she came out to claim that not only did they have a consensual relationship, but Adam also tried to name his unborn child after her and asked her if she was okay with that. Adam would then add, "My wife and family is all I care about in this world. To be this naive and stupid enough to risk the only thing that truly matters to me was a great mistake I could ever make. I will never make it again." While Prinsloo did not respond to her husband's statement, Sumner would make one final jab at Adam when she took to her Instagram to throw some more shade and urge someone to give him a dictionary. Number 9. Kevin Hart and Anoko Parish. During an interview in 2017 with 105.1 FM's The Breakfast Club, Kevin Hart would admit to cheating on his then pregnant wife during a trip to Las Vegas. In the interview after the confession, Kevin Hart would say, "I'm hoping that she has the heart to where she can forgive me and understand that this is not going to be a reoccurring thing and allow me to recover from my effing mistake." Kevin would then reveal that his wife, whom he shares his son Kenzo with, was expecting a baby girl in 2020 with him and held him accountable for his actions. He would then say, "She came to an amazing conclusion of, I like the fact that we have a family, that we have a household, and I like the fact we now have got a job to do better. That's what you owe me. You owe me to get better." Kevin then explained on the School of Greatness podcast in 2020 that it was her understanding that they didn't need to let the world affect their inside that saved their relationship, and he even credited his wife for setting that tone. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
Helena Bonham Carter and Kenneth Branagh. The two are believed to have begun their secret relationship on the set of the film Frankenstein in 1994, which Kenneth played the lead role and Helena played Frankenstein's adopted sister, Elizabeth. At the time, he had been married to Emma Thompson for 8 years, who was adored by fans. The two were even dubbed the golden couple by the British press, and seemingly had the perfect marriage, which is why the affair caused a massive scandal that rocked tabloids across the nation. They split in 1995, and years later, Emma has admitted that her tearful scenes in Love Actually were so persuasive because she had had her heart broken very badly by Kenneth. It was a little awkward because both actresses had to work together in the Harry Potter films, with Helena playing Bellatrix and Emma playing Professor Trelawney. But in 2013, she revealed that the two had made their peace years ago, and that the divorce was all blood under the bridge. But Emma even joked that she and her Harry Potter co-star were both slightly mad and a little bit fashion challenged, and she said, quote, "Perhaps that's why Ken loved us both." Number 7. Abbie Cornish and Ryan Phillippe. The actor first met Reese Witherspoon while starring alongside her in the 1999 movie Cruel Intentions. They actually fell so in love with each other that they ended up getting married that same year. But all good things must come to an end, especially Hollywood romances, and in 2008, Ryan started to get closer to his new co-star, Australian actress Abbie Cornish, while they were filming the movie Stop Loss. The two of them seemed to be so comfortable being seen in public together that they were eventually caught having dinner together in a Texas restaurant, despite the fact that there were some curtains around the table. They were also caught together again just outside of Ryan's apartment. The affair was so in your face, it really wasn't funny. But it wasn't until Reese discovered intimate messages back and forth that were being exchanged between the two of them on his phone. Then it was clear that after 7 years of marriage and 2 children, Reese was ready to call it quits with Ryan, and later went on to marry talent agent Jim Toth, whilst Ryan and Abbie's love affair eventually lost its spark. Number 6. Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys. The actors played secret KGB agents and love interests on the FX spy drama The Americans. The romance between the two sparked while on set, but there was just one problem. At the time, Kerry was still married to Shane Deary, with whom she had 2 kids. The two leads play like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and so naturally, many believe their steamy scenes were indicative of a real-life romance. At the time though, they both heavily denied it. When talking about their sex scenes, Matthew said, quote, "We've all done a million of them in this crazy life we sign up for." He said that eventually the clinical element of it kicks in, which sort of takes away from that embarrassment. But it's obvious that there was really something going on, as the two of them were shopping for furniture together at Christmas in 2013. Not long after, Kerry parted ways with her now ex-husband. Unlike most cheating scandals though, this one seemed to turn out quite well, as Kerry, Matthew and Shane reportedly go on vacations together and frequently dine out as friends. Not only that, but in 2016, Kerry and Matthew welcomed their first child together and became a blended family. Number 5. Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott. The Beverly Hills 90210 star and her husband, Dean McDermott, have been making headlines since their scandalous start. The two actors met on the set of Lifetime's Mind Over Murder in 2005, only a year after Spelling married her first husband, Charlie Shanahan. Dean was also married at the time for more than a decade to Mary Jo Eustace, with whom he shares a son. Tori and Dean began cheating on their spouses the night they met. In fact, she wrote about the affair in her 2009 memoir, quote, "It was love at first sight. I fell so hard. Then I noticed he had a wedding ring. When someone asked, he pulled out photos of his children, and oh yeah, I had a husband too." Yeah, there's no making that sound better. She went on to say that the couple ended up spending the night together despite the fact that they were both married. And she knew it was meant to be because when she woke up next to Dean the following day, she said she had no regrets. The two married and went on to have 4 children together before yet another cheating scandal rocked their relationship in 2013, this time with Dean and the nanny. Number 4. Kate Hudson and Owen Wilson. The Hollywood stars had a massive cheating scandal while filming the 2006 comedy You, Me and Dupree, most likely because Kate was married to rock musician Chris Robinson for 6 years when she met Owen. The actors had a wild affair that lasted only 6 months, but it was definitely long enough to ruin Kate's relationship with her husband forever. Amid the rumors of infidelity, the Black Crowes singer ended up filing for divorce from Hudson in November September 2006, citing irreconcilable differences and seeking joint custody of their then 2-year-old son Ryder. A month after the film opened in July, Kate and Owen were confirmed to be officially dating. But the affair didn't seem to stack up to anything, as the couple's relationship was short-lived, and they broke up less than a year later. As the public started to turn against the actress, she countered the speculation by telling Harper's Bazaar that's not what happened. But looking back at the 2006 press tour, it was pretty obvious that something was happening between them, because it got kind of inappropriate. Owen asked her about wearing a bikini in the film and whether she and her husband have ever had a third wheel experience. Number 3. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Many Hollywood romances have started on screen and bled into the real lives of the actors involved. The most iconic has to be that of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. The two engaged in a scandalous affair after meeting on the set of To Have and Have Not back in 1944. Bacall was only 19 when she first met Bogart, who was already an acclaimed Hollywood star and 25 years older than her. But that wasn't the only issue. At the time, Bogart was married to actress Mayo Methot, but their relationship was reportedly falling apart. Bacall confessed in her 1978 memoir that there was no clap of thunder or lightning bolt moment when she first laid eyes on him in 1943, but the actors became close on the set when she was nervous about the production and turned to her co-star for support. Just 3 weeks into filming, the pair shared their first kiss in her dressing room after a day of filming, and he asked her for her phone number, which she famously scribbled on the back of a matchbook. After that, they began meeting in secret places and using their on-screen names to disguise their identities. Bogart eventually divorced his wife in 1945 and married Bacall just 11 days later. Number 2. Sienna Miller and Daniel Craig. Scandal erupted in 2005 when Sienna Miller's confession of love to Daniel Craig was publicly broadcast to the world, while she was still married to Jude Law. The two were co-stars in the 2004 film Layer Cake with Sienna, and at some point the two got a little bit closer than they did on screen. But how did the news of the affair get out? Well, that's the tricky part. A journalist hacked Daniel's voicemail, retrieving a message that came from Sienna's phone number. Both parties tried to discredit the audio tape at first, but when the hearing took place for the hacking trial, it was proven to be authentic. Sienna tried to play it off and told the court that she always ended phone calls saying "I love you," insisting it wasn't some huge declaration of love. She denied that the message meant she was in a relationship with Daniel, but she did admit to the court that they were briefly involved. Jude reportedly learned of his wife's affair from the newspaper story and called Daniel to confront him, because the two used to be close friends. Talk about messy. And coming in at number 1, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe. In the 90s, Meg Ryan had a squeaky clean image thanks to her role as a leading lady in many rom-coms like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle. But her reputation took a huge hit when it emerged that she cheated on her then husband, Dennis Quaid, with her co-star Russell Crowe. Meg and Dennis had been married for 9 years and already shared a son together when she met Russell on the set of the 2000 thriller Proof of Life, and the pair had instant chemistry. But the affair reportedly caused awkwardness amongst the cast and crew, as the actress didn't even appear on the press tour because she was so worried that they would be asking her about it. In fact, the film's director, Taylor Hackford, blamed the cheating scandal for the film being a flop at the box office. Meg was publicly shamed, especially after she and Dennis officially announced their separation, because it allegedly put too much strain on their marriage. When she began dating her co-star, it really changed the public's perception of her as the quirky rom-com lead. In fact, she told The Guardian in 2003, quote, "I was all over the tabloids and I walked through the lobby and the place stopped. People stopped talking and stared at me." Goes to show you how sensational the affair was at the time.
At number 10, Lil Nas X. Last year, Lil Nas X made a lot of headlines. He released a new album, rocked red carpets, but also got himself into quite scandal as well. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song included some adult themes, obviously, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These sneakers were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Naz and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting, quote, a single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Naz faced all kinds of backlash, but he didn't let that knock him down. He remained pretty unfazed by the whole thing and bounced back from the scandal with no problem, but for a couple of weeks there, he was definitely Twitter's #1 enemy. At number 9, David Dobrik. YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik is one of YouTube's biggest creators, but last year he got royally cancelled. Other than being super popular on the platform with over 18 million subscribers, he's found success in Hollywood as well, as he's been cast on a few TV shows as a host and judge on a few game shows. However, this past year, David's popularity started to fall and his praise turned into scrutiny after people started coming forward with allegations against David. Former members of David's YouTube friend group called the Vlog Squad have come forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting hurt. On top of that, a former fan came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as a person who hurt them while they were under the influence, and also called David out for filming part of their alleged incident. Because of David's content, he caused a lot of controversy, emotional pain, and distress, and he's only recently bounced back from the drama that he faced in 2021.
In at number 8, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, people have speculated that rich celebrities have private islands where they participate in things that normal people could not even think of. And in 2019, it was exposed that those theories were true, and a good portion of the world's elites had participated in disgusting and illegal conduct while on Jeffrey Epstein's island. During that investigation, we learned that Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Bill Gates had connections to this island and were documented as friends of Epstein's. The ties to the royal family were the most shocking, and the public was horrified to learn that Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, were so close to the royals they actually vacationed at one of the Queen's private residences. As of now, Prince Andrew is being investigated in connection with Epstein, and he's been stripped from the royal family. And at number 7, Jussie Smollett. In 2019, Jussie Smollett claimed that he had been attacked on the streets of Chicago by white Trump supporters, who told him, quote, "This is mega country," put a noose around his neck, and poured a chemical substance on him. Social media was set on fire after the attack and pitted Democrats and Republicans against each other even more than they had been before, especially since the president at the time, Donald Trump, was deemed responsible for the incident. However, months later, it was reported that the entire thing was a lie, and he was never actually attacked like he claimed. Jussie was arrested and later charged by the Chicago Police Department for giving them false information. Jussie was then indicted on 16 felony charges, and in 2020 he was indicted on 6 more charges. He has been found guilty on all the charges, although he still claims he is not lying. And at number 6, Kylie Jenner's pregnancy. Nothing broke the internet quite like when Kylie Jenner posted a video to YouTube sharing that she had been pregnant for the last 9 months and kept it entirely secret. Not only was she pregnant, but her daughter Stormi was born before the release of the video. Rumors had been swirling that she was pregnant, and it seemed likely because Kylie stayed at home way more than usual during this time, clearly hiding something from the world. In an Instagram post, Kylie apologized for keeping everyone in the dark, but said that she wanted to keep her pregnancy to herself in order to truly enjoy that time. For her second pregnancy, Kylie did not keep it hidden and shared tons of photos and videos with fans. Some fans were even convinced that she had already given birth to her second child and was keeping it hidden because of the Astroworld tragedy. But after the recent birthday party of Stormi, where Kylie was seen incredibly pregnant, it's clear that she is still waiting to give birth, but it looks like it could be any day now. Halfway, number 5, Monica Lewinsky. The scandal involving Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky is one of the most shocking of all time, and it's still so interesting to the public that the scandal was outlined in the latest season of American Crime Story titled Impeachment. In 1998, it was exposed that the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, engaged in sexual relations with a White House intern. At the time, multiple other women also came forward to expose his predatory behavior was a pattern. At first, he strongly denied it, but then a woman named Linda Tripp exposed that it was a lie because she had taped Lewinsky talking about her affair with Clinton. After it was exposed that he was a liar and cheater, he was impeached for lying under oath. He was impeached by the House of Representatives but acquitted by the Senate, so he remained in office until his term ended. And at number 4, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson officially lost it in the eyes of the world in 2002 when he dangled his son over a balcony in Berlin, Germany. People were waiting below and were horrified, thinking that Jackson could drop him. Michael later admitted it was a mistake in doing so, saying he was simply excited. He said in a statement after the incident, quote, "I got caught up in the excitement of the moment. I would never intentionally endanger the lives of my children." However, many did not accept this statement. Michael's close friend at the time, Uri Geller, condemned his actions, saying, quote, "I just would not put any child over a railing at such a height. I think it was a silly thing to do. He probably did it because he was overwhelmed emotionally by the fans." And at number 3, Martha Stewart. The queen of homemaking, Martha Stewart, shocked the world when she was sent to jail for insider trading. In 2002, it was announced that she was being investigated for selling off thousands of shares of a company called Imclone Systems, because she learned the stock was going to be dropping drastically and didn't want to lose money in the market. She served 5 months in prison for her crime, but shockingly, her time in the slammer did not affect her career very much. Right after she got out, she was back to work, and now it's safe to say her reputation is completely healed following this incident. And at number 2, Tiger Woods. Golf is generally a game that's pretty boring in terms of scandals. The league of golf is generally very professional, with little to report about other than the results of tournaments. But that all changed when the king of golf, Tiger Woods' private relationship was put on display, and we were all shocked about who he really was behind closed doors. In November of 2009, the National Enquirer exposed that he'd been cheating on his wife with a nightclub hostess. Days later, many other women came forward, and it was reported that he slept with hundreds of women while married. After many years of being blacklisted from golf, Tiger was able to come out on top once again and won the Masters in 2019, although his reputation has been tainted once again after reports surfaced that he got in a terrifying car crash. His car went off the road and fell off a cliff, leaving his car flipped. And finally, at number 1, Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's acceptance speech at the 2009 VMAs is easily one of the most memorable of all time. Kanye West's interruption happened moments after Taylor accepted her award and became the start of a long-running feud that has pitted Taylor and Kanye fans against each other ever since. Kanye felt that Beyonce deserved the award more than Taylor and grabbed the mic from her, saying, quote, "Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time," before being booed off the stage. Taylor was later left back on stage to re-say her speech, but the damage was already done. Tons of celebrities came out on social media to defend Taylor against Kanye's actions. And at number 10, the college admissions scandal. In 2019, the world was shocked to learn that the government had spent years investigating university bribes. The investigation, called Operation Varsity Blues, uncovered that hundreds of parents had paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to ensure their child got into the best schools in America. Even more shocking, some of the parents involved were wealthy celebrities like Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Huffman admitted to paying $15,000 to up her daughter's SAT scores, issued a public apology, pled guilty, then served 11 days of a 2-week sentence. Lori was accused of paying $500,000 to get her daughters into USC, maintained her innocence, and in 2020 was sentenced to 2 months in prison, while her husband Massimo was sentenced to 5 months. And at number 9, Tristan Thompson cheats on Khloe Kardashian. Usually someone cheating wouldn't be a big enough deal to completely overload social media, but in the case of Tristan and Khloe, the cheating was so outrageous that people could not believe it was really happening. The first time Tristan was exposed for cheating, Khloe was 8 months pregnant with their child, and videos and photos showed him out clubbing with women, and even taking one back to his hotel room. But that was not all. The internet broke once again when it was reported that Tristan cheated on Khloe again, this time with her younger sister Kylie's best friend, Jordyn Woods, who was basically a part of the family at that point. Sources said that the NBA star was seen cozying up to Jordyn at a party where they made out and were all over each other. After that shocking and embarrassing scandal, Khloe not only dumped Tristan, but Kylie was forced to cut ties with her BFF.
At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one had to be on this list because it was the first one that really blew up in 2021. Back in January of 2021, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, amongst other adult things, and this created a huge snowball effect that led to multiple people coming forward with their own allegations. Things took a serious turn, and soon an investigation was launched to look into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of this scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this in Hollywood, so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything that he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, him, or even if there is a way for him to salvage his career. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened last year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it caused a lot of drama in Hollywood and the music industry. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward in an Instagram post calling Manson out as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accusing him of brainwashing her and telling her fans how Manson had caused her mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused even more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some of the horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation looking into some of the allegations against the singer. At number 6, DaBaby. Last year, rapper DaBaby caused a big uproar in the LGBTQ+ community. He got into quite the controversy after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made offensive comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, unquote. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John condemned the rapper's comments and tried to take the rapper's cancellation as an opportunity to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it's wrong, and also put an effort into trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of the scandal, the rapper was cancelled, faced massive backlash, and lost a lot of support as well. At number 5, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan had a lot to say about the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah that became one of the biggest bombshells of last year. During the interview, secrets were revealed, confessions were given, and it gave a lot of people a lot to discuss. One of the things that was picked apart by a lot of people were Meghan's comments on her mental health before they split from the royal family. Meghan said that she was really depressed and had thoughts of taking her own life. Piers Morgan decided to pick her comments on her mental health apart and said that in his opinion he quote, didn't believe a word that Meghan said. He criticized Meghan's mental health, and a lot of people saw that as going too far. As a result, Piers and the network he worked for faced mass scrutiny for saying such a thing about someone's mental health, as it was seen as diminishing and deflecting the severity of such a thought as taking your own life. Because of the backlash he faced, Piers announced that he would be leaving the network, but that he still doesn't believe Meghan's claim, saying quote, freedom of speech is a hill I am happy to die on, end quote. At number 4, Chris Noth. This next scandal was one of the last ones to occur in 2021. Sex and the City actor Chris Noth has been faced with allegations of inappropriate contact, and he's already started to lose a lot. This scandal is still developing because it's so recent, but so far other former Sex and the City co-stars have come forward to support the alleged victims. As for his career, he's been fired from his role on the CBS show The Equalizer, effective immediately. As he goes into this new year with this scandal, who knows how the year will pan out for him. At number 3, Chris Harrison. With every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, there's at least one scandal, but last year things were a little different because a pretty serious scandal broke and it led to someone losing their job. The show's longtime host Chris Harrison landed himself into some hot water last year after he started facing backlash for the comments he made about one of the contestants' past. At the beginning of the Bachelor season in early 2021, photos of one of the Bachelor contestants were leaked, which showed her in a few compromising situations, specifically of her attending an antebellum-themed party, and many fans saw this as highly offensive and racist. When the scandal first broke, a conversation was obviously sparked, but when asked about his take on the situation, Chris ended up offending some people as he responded saying that it was in the past. In an interview on Extra with former Bachelor/Bachelorette contestant Rachel Lindsay, when asked about this contestant's controversial photos, Chris was seemingly dismissive of her actions of her being at this party, and he continued to try and defend his stance, saying that he didn't want to make any comments before the contestant in question had spoken out first. Instead of helping the situation, fans of the show saw this as perpetrating racism, and so he was cancelled. As a result of this drama, Chris was let go from the show and hasn't really been seen much in the media since. At number 2, Gina Carano. Actress Gina Carano, known for her role on the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, was exposed and cancelled for her old Twitter posts. Last year, Gina began to face massive backlash for her social media posts that exposed her ideals and opinions that many people took offense to. Though there were a few posts that garnered a lot of negative attention, such as her comments on putting your pronouns in your social media bio, the one that was seemingly the last straw for her career was a post that compared being a Republican to being a victim of the horrors from World War II, saying that Republicans are being persecuted because of their political beliefs. A lot of people took offense to this, and this led to even more backlash and to her getting exposed exposed for her unpopular opinions. Other posts that caused Gina to face scrutiny include her tweets about voter fraud in the US, as well as posts mocking people who wear masks amidst the pandemic. Because of the scandal and all of the negative press Gina was getting, she was promptly fired from The Mandalorian and hasn't been seen much since. And finally, at number 1, Travis Scott. Travis faced a lot of backlash in the last few weeks of 2021 after the tragedy that occurred at his Astroworld concert. The rapper's performance ended in tragedy as the chaos that ensued during the concert left multiple people dead and hundreds injured. 10 people lost their lives due to the events that unfolded, and many others are still recovering from their injuries, as well as the families of those affected still trying to cope with everything that happened with their loved ones. There is a lot of footage circling the internet showing what happened that night and the madness that occurred during the performance, with people showing the crowds of people and some fans yelling "Stop the show." After the incident, we found out that the Houston police chief actually warned Travis about crowd control prior to the event, expressing his concerns for public safety. After people found this out, Travis started facing even more backlash, as fans said that if the rapper really listened to this warning, these casualties could have been avoided. Travis has spoken out several times on the matter, but each time he makes a statement, it seems to make the whole situation worse for him, which certainly is not helping his career or fame.
Number 10. Will Smith and Margot Robbie. In 2013, Star Magazine published a bombshell allegation that Will Smith was caught cheating with his co-star Margot Robbie when they worked together on the movie Focus. The report actually claimed that in photo booth pictures that they found and published on their cover, Will appeared to be shirtless and Margot lifted up her own shirt to reveal her lingerie. The magazine also claimed that after they pulled the curtain back to take the pictures, they were getting very touchy-feely with each other in the dark. The scandal was massive at the time because Will is married to Jada Pinkett Smith, and back then they had yet to admit to having an open relationship. But the rumors soon died down as E! News revealed that the pictures were commissioned by a production and that the entire cast and crew saw them being taken. It also came out that Will and Margot are absolutely just friends and there was nothing else going on between them. Even Margot was quick to deny everything on Twitter. Quote, "There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous rumor. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context." Well, people do tend to jump to conclusions. Number 9. Dominic West and Lily James. The actors were at the height of scandal when they were photographed getting cozy in Rome, all while filming their new series of Pursuit of Love in 2020. The pictures show the stars kissing, sitting at a cafe, standing on the Spanish Steps, and riding tandem on a scooter looking very much to be on a date. Although Lily was single at the time, Dominic has been married to Catherine Fitzgerald for 10 years, and they have 4 children together. A source told The Sun that when Catherine saw the pictures, she was devastated and tried to get a hold of her husband, but he wasn't answering his phone. She was reportedly shocked by the whole thing because she didn't realize anything was going on. But only a few days later, there was a photo taken out the front of the couple's home with a note saying, "Our marriage is strong and we're very much still together. Thank you." Since the incident, James has kept quiet and cancelled various interviews to promote her latest film, Rebecca, which is probably a good decision considering the fact that both parties have not yet publicly talked about their affair since it occurred.
Coming number 8, we have Cardi B and Offset. Back in 2017, Migos member Offset would come under fire for multiple allegations of infidelity after he appeared to be caught in bed with other women in videos that surfaced online. Cardi B would then respond to the rumors about the relationships on her Twitter, telling fans that this stuff happens to everyone. A source then would later reveal exclusively to us and said that she had zero intention on leaving her fiance. Then, in June of 2018, news broke that the two had secretly got married in Atlanta back in September 2017. In the following month, the duo would then welcome their first child. Cardi would then reveal in an Instagram video in December 2018 that she and Offset had called it quits after more than a year of marriage. In that same month, Offset former fling, who he allegedly hooked up with in June of 2018, apologized for her part in the pair's drama. Offset later publicly apologized to his estranged wife twice before the two reconciled and hit the Grammys red carpet together in February of 2019. Number 7, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Back in 2017, Jay-Z would finally admit to the rumors of his infidelity and that they were true, after he made a series of thinly veiled apologies to his wife, Beyonce, on his album that came after Beyonce released her own album, Lemonade, which took on the empowerment and revenge when she exposed her husband and said that he cheated on her with someone she referred to as Becky with the good hair. And to this day, we're all still wondering who Becky really is. Jay-Z, however, would finally spill everything out in an interview with the New York Times, and it would be the first time Jay-Z would admit that he actually had been unfaithful when it came to his relationship with Beyonce. In the interview, Jay-Z would say, "You have to survive, so you go into survival mode, and when you go into survival mode, what happens? You shut down all emotions. So even with women, you gotta shut down emotionally so you can't connect. In my case, it's deep." And then all the things happen from there, like infidelity. Now, he wouldn't elaborate on the identity of Becky, but Beyonce and Jay-Z were able to work together on their relationship, and they're still together to this day. Number 6, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Back in April of 2022, Jada Pinkett Smith would admit that she was having an affair with singer August while she was married to Will Smith. The actress revealed that 5.5 years ago, her marriage was going through a rough patch and she was separated from Will with the intention to get a divorce. She then had a relationship with August. During her conversation with her husband Will on her Facebook series, Red Table Talk, Jada would explain, "I started a friendship with August and we actually became really, really good friends." She would then add that she wanted to help the musician with his mental state and found resources to help pull him through a troubling time. The actor revealed, "I got into different kinds of entanglements with August, and in the process of that relationship, I definitely realized you can't find happiness outside yourself." She also wanted to make it clear that August was not a homewrecker, but she and Will were going through a process of healing in a much different manner as a couple. Number 5, Ned Fulmer and Ariel Fulmer. Since Ned Fulmer cheated on his wife Ariel Fulmer back in September, the scandal has pretty much took over the internet. And every month, fans are still wanting to know if the couple is actually still together. Ned, who married Ariel in 2012, definitely had a lot of fixing to do to his relationship after it started to circulate that he had cheated on Ariel with Alex Herring, who is the producer of The Try Guys, a video company founded by Ned and 3 former BuzzFeed employees. The rumors came from a Reddit thread that noted Ned was missing from 3 of the Try Guys' latest posts at the time, as well as the group's podcast. It was also noted that Ariel was missing from her podcast, You Can Sit With Us, which she hosts with the partners of the Try Guy members. Rumors then started to be speculated that the couple were caught kissing at a club in New York City, and then a photo claimed the rumors were true came out. As a result, Ned would find himself being booted from the show, but he was somehow able to save his relationship with his wife Ariel in the process. At number 4, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. While many of us thought that Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade were the perfect couple throughout the years, their relationship has really been put to the test, as they've been together for over 13 years, and in that time, they've weathered hectic schedules, infertility issues. In Gabrielle's 2021 memoir, You Got Anything Stronger, she would reveal that they had survived infidelity as well. In the book, she would write that in 2013, before they got married, Dwayne would cheat on her and would father another child with another woman. She would then also go on to say, "It should go without saying that we were not in a good place in our relationship at the time that the child was conceived. To say I was devastated is to pick a word on a low shelf for convenience." In an interview with People magazine in 2021, the couple also opened up about how they made things work with Dwayne, saying, "It's about learning about each other, learning what she wants for her life and for her career, for trying to support all those things," which Gabrielle replied, "We humble ourselves, listen, and we meet in the middle." Number 3, Woody Harrelson and Laura Louie. Woody and Laura's relationship started when he hired her to be his assistant back in 1987, and years after working together, they couldn't deny that they had fallen in love. Woody even wrote a song for her to express his feelings, and then he would tell The Hollywood Reporter that after he played the song, she would say, "Woody, I've been in love with you for the last 2.5 years." But what started off as a fairy tale come true would be put to the test in 2002 when Woody went home with not 1, but 3 different women, one of which turned out to be working with the paparazzi and leaked a story to a publication called News of the World. In the same Hollywood Reporter profile, Woody would open up about the challenging time and how Laura stood by his side through it all. He would even say, "Laura, this really gives you a sense of depth of her compassion. When she said to me after finding out was that it must be really hard for you to have this stuff exposed," he would then go on to note that that didn't mean that she wasn't upset and that she gave him the standard Texan grovel before forgiving him. Number 2, Brittany Cartwright and Jax Taylor. Vanderpump Rules stars Brittany Cartwright and Jax Taylor really went through the emotional ringer after Jax met Brittany in Vegas between seasons 3 and 4. The couple was then put to the test 2 years later in 2017 when it came out that Jax had cheated with his former co-worker and co-star Faith Stowers. Talking about his infidelity in the interview with US Weekly, Jax would say, "I just kind of fell into a deep hole, and that happens out here sometimes. You get sucked into this lifestyle." Ultimately, Brittany decided to stay by his side and even accept his marriage proposal a year after the scandal happened. And then she even said, "I see him every single day making efforts, and he's completely changed. The way he treats me, the way he talks to me, the way he listens to me. Every single thing about our relationship is better." In the time since, they have left the reality show to focus on raising their son Cruz, who was born in April of 2021. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott. Tori and Dean first met on the set of the 2005 movie Mind Over Murder, and naturally the two had amazing chemistry. And by 2006, they would find themselves getting married. But in 2014, after 8 years of marriage, 4 kids, and a reality show, Dean would come clean about cheating on his wife on an episode of their show True Tori. In the episode, he would say, "I feel ashamed. I never felt shame before. You were at a Christmas event and I was effing around. That's disgusting." Tori has since actually been pretty open about the work they put into their marriage over the years and the ways Dean's cheating has affected their relationship. In a 2020 interview on the Woman on Top podcast, she said they were still dealing with the repercussions of his actions, but that "I can make my own money, I can be a single mom, but I actually really love him and want to work on this. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but we're going to try."
Number 10, Justin Timberlake and Elisha Wainwright. Justin Timberlake and Elisha Wainwright made headlines when they were spotted holding hands during a night out in New Orleans. The two actors were shooting the movie Palmer, which is a drama about an ex-college football star who returns home after being in prison. The co-stars were photographed together getting cozy at a bar in Louisiana, sitting at a table holding hands and talking to one another. The photos showed Justin, who didn't appear to be wearing his wedding ring, holding hands with the actress under a table and drinking together. At one point, Elisha could be seen resting her hand on the singer's knee, and while he was standing up, putting his arm around her waist. The photos caused a huge scandal because he's been married to Jessica Biel since 2012. Their relationship was really being tested, and Justin had to make a public statement the following month, apologizing for his strong lapse in judgment and claimed that despite the photos, nothing happened between him and his co-star. Number 9, LeAnn Rimes and Eddie Cibrian. This affair was not exactly unique. In fact, it's a story so common in Hollywood that it borders on cliché. The actors were co-stars who met on the set of a Lifetime movie called Northern Lights. They immediately hit it off and the flirting began. But the kicker was that they were both already married at the time to other people. But hey, in classic Hollywood fashion, they didn't let that stop them, and not long after meeting, they were photographed having dinner together, and the rumor mill did the rest. After extreme press coverage of the affair, both LeAnn and Eddie decided to make it official and separated from their respective spouses to be with each other. They eventually ended up tying the knot in 2011, but the story doesn't entirely end there. A few years later, Eddie was caught cheating on LeAnn at Wendy Williams' 50th birthday party, but she claims she's unfazed by the whole thing and doesn't seem to mind if he flirts with other women. You know what they say, sometimes how you get them is how you lose them too.
Coming number 8, we have Beyonce and Jay-Z. When Beyonce released her much anticipated album Lemonade, she put a spotlight onto her marriage with Jay-Z, and since there has been so much speculation about who Becky with the good hair is, that it's even become a major meme. While the duo was pretty quiet about whether Lemonade was based on their marriage, it wasn't until 2017 that we would know that it was the truth when Jay-Z released his album 444, which was full of apologies to Beyonce and to their daughter Blue. He would also open up in an interview with David Letterman about how his infidelities nearly destroyed their marriage and how he has done work to repair their union. Jay-Z would say, "Much like you, I have a beautiful wife who was understanding and who knew that I'm not the worst of what I've done, and who did the work of going to therapy, and really, we love each other. We put in the work. While JC has recently continued to grow into the proud father and husband he is today, it's been pretty outstanding to see. Number 7, Kevin Hart and Anuka Parrish. The story of Kevin Hart's infidelity is confusing at best. When he first denied the cheating scandal in July of 2017, he would then post a video on his Instagram apologizing with the caption, "Sending so many apologies to my wife and kids. I gotta do better, and I will. I'm not perfect, and I have never claimed to be. I love you all." It would later also be revealed that Hart was at the center of an alleged extortion attempt, as someone allegedly was in possession of a video that showed Kevin engaging with another woman that wasn't his wife, and they were trying to expose Kevin in an attempt so they could receive some money. It wouldn't be until Kevin had an interview with The Breakfast Club where he would finally admit to his cheating. When Hart finally decided to speak about the scandal that happened on a 2020 podcast, he would go on to say when Anuka Parrish found out about the situation, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park for the comedian, but when she finally came to the conclusion of it, Hart would say, "I like the fact we have a family, that we have a household, and I like the fact we now got a job to do better. That's what you owe me. You owe me to get better." Number 6, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Though the Smiths themselves wouldn't call it a scandal, the rest of the world would be shocked when August Alsina spoke about a relationship he had with Jada Pinkett Smith during an interview in June 2020. August would say, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really deeply love and have a ton of love for her." He would then go on to claim that Will knew about the relationship and gave August and Jada his blessing. Naturally, people were shocked that the Smiths are one of the longest lasting and famous Hollywood couples in recent history. First, the couple issued a quick statement denying the relationship, but then Jada would announce on her Twitter that she was taking herself to the red table. In July of 2020, the Smiths would sit down at the red table to discuss their relationship, and they would speak about a dark period of their marriage when they thought they were going to separate and never speak again. That's when Jada and August started their relationship. While Will did deny giving August permission, he did know that the two were seeing each other. When August and Jada's relationship finally came to an end, Will and her decided to try to work things out. However, to this day, it seems like Jada tries everything she can to humiliate Will, and I just don't support it. At number 5, we have Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. The Twilight movies are some of the biggest successful films of our time, and while the book was better than the movie, it did steal our hearts. And at the center of the media frenzy, you would find Robert and Kristen making headlines as the two co-stars began a relationship during filming, and fans were completely obsessed. However, all of this would change after the paparazzi released pictures of Christian and Rupert Saunders, who was the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, engaging in some major PDA. And everyone had some major opinions about it. Christian would eventually publicly apologize to Robert, and then the two reconciled for a time, but then eventually broke up. Later, Christian would recall her relationship with Robert and would describe it as being young and stupid. While we wish Kristen and Robert could share their love off screen like Bella and Edward, we all knew her relationship was doomed to come to an end at some point because, let's face it, she really should have chosen Jacob. And I'm gonna stand by that statement. Number 4, Nick Young and Iggy Azalea. Now, it all began with a prank war that would be exposed when Nick Young had cheated on Iggy Azalea. When the LA Lakers were involved in a prank war, a video that was recorded by fellow player D'Angelo Russell, the video would eventually be leaked to the public, and it would show Nick Young apparently admitting to cheating on rapper Iggy Azalea. Later, Nick would try to claim that it was all false, and he somehow was able to convince Iggy it was all just one giant rumor, and she ended up continuing on with their relationship. However, it wouldn't be long until Iggy would suddenly tweet that she had dumped Nick because she caught him on a security camera bringing girls into their home. To add more insult to the injury, news would soon start to circulate that Nick was expecting a baby with his ex-girlfriend, Kiona Green, and the baby was definitely conceived while he was still in a relationship with Iggy. Out of all the lows that could have happened, it's kind of funny that Nick thought that he could bring girls into the house and Iggy wouldn't catch him when she watched the surveillance footage. Number 3, Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth's long-term relationship was a rift filled with cheating rumors. While Liam was accused of straying away multiple times while they were still engaged, news would start to surface that he even got with January Jones while the two were still together. The two would then end up calling things off, but then they would get back together a couple years later, and then they would even find themselves getting married. While the marriage only lasted less than a year, at some point, everyone started to accuse Miley of cheating. Just after a a week of the two's devastating breakup, Miley would be forced to address the rumors of her almost 8-month marriage, as well as some of the most scandalous episodes from her past. While Miley has been pretty open and transparent with her fans, she couldn't believe people were accusing her of infidelity. The same day the news broke of their split. On the other hand though, Miley was spotted kissing Caitlyn Carter in Italy. Despite all the rumors about her unfaithfulness, Miley would come out to say the truth is, once Liam and I reconciled, I meant it and I was committed. I can admit to a lot of things, but I refuse to admit that my marriage ended because of cheating. Liam and I have been together for a decade. I've said it before and it remains true. I love Liam and always will. Number 2, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. As adorable as they look together, I don't think any of us truly believe Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner were ever meant to be together, as his heart has always belonged to J-Lo. While Ben definitely benefited from Jennifer as a grounding force in his life, they did go on to have 3 amazing kids together, but it's clear that Ben wasn't ready to ever settle down in their relationship, as it was reported that he had cheated on her with the nanny. While Jennifer would say she didn't find out about the affair before the formal couple made the decision to get a divorce, the alleged incident was said to happen before they even came to the final decision that their relationship was over. Later in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer would confirm that Ben did have an affair with the nanny, as she said, "Let me just tell you something. We have been separated for months before I even heard about the nanny. She had nothing to do with our decision to divorce. She was not a part of the equation." And she elaborated on how she had to deal with it, and she said it wasn't great for her kids to have a nanny disappear from their lives, and that she had to have many conversations with her children about the meaning of the scandal. Still, at the end of the day, Jennifer would open up about how there was no need to attack Ben, as people have pain and they do regrettable things and they feel shame, and shame equals pain. And coming in number 1 today, we have Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were once a dream couple, and I honestly wish they would get back together because Brad made a huge mistake leaving her for Angelina Jolie. However, even with them being a dream couple, they proved that Disney fairy tales can't come true, as their romance came to a screeching halt when they decided to get divorced in 2005. For years, Brad and Angelina would deny the cheating rumors, and it would come out just after the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith that Brad had fallen in love with Jolie. However, karma had different plans for Brad and Angelina, as their relationship ended up being quite ill-fated as well. In 2020, Brad would finally admit to cheating on Jennifer when he sat down for an interview and apologized to Jennifer by saying, "It grieves me that it was interpreted this way." Jennifer is incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman who remains my friend. It is an important relationship I value greatly. The point I was trying to make is not that Jen was doll, but I was becoming doll to myself, and I am responsible for. I, for one, am still a huge shipper of Brad and Jennifer, and if we can see Ben and J-Lo get back together, then maybe we'll just find these two finding themselves back together soon.